very important press conference by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Buffer Chambers. So we, on a very short notice, we want to thank you for coming, and we trust that you will do what is just right to do in terms of your coverage. So this conference is live on the following radio stations. Prom FM is live on Prom FM. Truth FM is carrying it live. OK FM is also carrying it live. It's being streamed on other online platforms like KMTV, Ablige TV, Buzz TV, the host of other Banan TV, host of other outlets, ERA as well. So thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. These are members of the Fourth Estate, specifically legislative reporters.
Thank you very much. We are happy today to have this conference. To the wonderful people of this press corps, I want to say a happy New Year. It's our prayer that your blessings be exponentially multiplied and your burdens be decreased. But we are happy to be here now that we are about to face a transition where the new government will take place, and we have essentially, closing this phase of legislature. So again, we want to say thanks for the services rendered. What is trending at the Capitol building is the issue of governance. In terms of the well-being of the people based on parity, based on fairness, based on justice. And we hope that what is supposed to be the norm be executed to the fullest. We have our staffers, we have lawmakers, even we have, leadership members who are plagued with the issues that have to do with, their own remunerations and other services. So it's an issue of government and an issue of social order. Government comes to being to protect each and every individual's right. The fact that people have worked, I think, needs no further discussion. But government should be inclined through the executive to do what is just and fair. So we call on the executive to the Ministry of Finance to do the needful, to pay the people as they have worked for, to pay the people as the rules required. So there should be no kind of other, shifting of the margins or shifting of the posts. It is from time immemorial before this government took, power, that it has been the way, and there have been considerations in many forms and fashion owing to these kinds of activities. So today, it did not have to happen. The people did not have to raise any kind of passive dissent. They did not have to demonstrate before attention is given. We have spoken to people from all sides. We have passed it on to the executive, and I want to thank the Chief of State, Mr. Weah, because a delegation was formed and met with him, and he informed the delegation that he has done his part to approve of the whole exercise of the payments required for those individuals or of members of this legislature, the senators, the representatives, the personal staff members, and also central administration. So it is the people's money, and it is the job of the people, and they are being designated to do the job. So when people come to these things, and it is often said in other quarters or in other parts or branches of government that it is the legislature that appropriates. And if the legislature is appropriating, I think there must be some adherence to the governance architecture on the ground. Meaning that if the legislature lawfully, constitutionally, makes the requests needed for the operationalization of works here, I think there should be no hesitation. I think things should have been done by this time with alacrity, with readiness and gleeful, readiness or happiness to ensure that the action of the payments of the people are being carried out, because there are a lot of activities. If other people had to be elsewhere, and government found it prudent or necessary, or that the people come to work, I think based on jurisprudence, they come, and based on manifest necessity, or something that is concretely necessary when they come to do the work, I think there should be no delay. The people have worked, the people have been here painstakingly doing things in the interest of the country, and there should be no special kind of dealing to make this unfold in a positive way. So I think with what is happening here, when people dissent, getting to be, heightened, I think it has the tendency of causing some paralysis to constitutional, actions. There should be speakers' elections. There should be speakers' election. There should be elections in the legislature here. Deputy Speaker pro tem. And if the action, of this current finance ministry will impede, constitutional matters, I think there is a need for some action to be taken immediately. I think to have this to happen, it will be giving rise to some action to thwart constitutional actions. So if people will sit and just feel that, because of the lack of a better word, unwillingness to do what is required by law, then I think some other action should be taken. So I call on the Ministry of Finance officials to do the needful immediately to ensure that these things roll out. The staffers on the ground, the workers at the legislature, and all other areas that arrears are owed, that things happen and must happen urgently. What is happening now, we need unity, we need peace, we need stability, we need security, and we don't want to see a kind of ugly turnover or ugly ending of the current administration, and a kind of obstruction for the new one to be ushered in. And so I call on members of the Ministry of Finance to do what is prudent, what is lawful, what is practical, what should be seen as a sense of reasoning. Our people have come here, and I want to commend them for all that they have done to give their sacrifices. I think it has been self-abnegating. They have done things and subordinated their interest and that of their family's interest to be here. Once they have come here, they have had this convergence here to do the people's business. I think it's no other person's right to say what is their entitlement, what should be and what should not be. We are not having a raffle draw. It's a system, and the system must work. And so that said, I want to say to our people that I think with celerity, with swiftness, the Ministry of Finance should act. This is a government we're running. It's nobody personal, entitlement. There is nobody that can say that I have an entitlement to this. I will decide on what happens. This is not a monarchy. This is a democracy. And in democracy, when you have systems, those systems must be adequately rolled out and rolled out effectively and effectively, proficiently. That's what we want. On that note, I hope things will be followed in line with what we are here for. Now, and another issue here is that we have a system and we have made some comments. I think we'll have to write a course in America to ensure that what Mr. Samuel Joe, who had been illegally removed from office for allowing a Liberian legislator of visiting a Liberian office in America, a LISCA office, just to make inquiries for him to be fired for being courteous to that Liberian legislator. I think in my mind is something that warrants attention by this government. And before even we challenge these things in court, I think we'll want the government and we'll give this to appropriate government functionary or functionaries to look into it. Mr. Joe happens to be a Liberian. He works with the Liberian Registry Ship Corporate office in Dulles, Virginia, and he has been working there. To our own dismay, he was dismissed. And what happened was that Mr. Joe, I personally, as the Liberian speaker, I had a kind of an encounter with LISCA office here, because we want to know how effective and productive LISCA is to the Liberian people and the Liberian economy. And so we invited LISCA here. One Benjamin, first we invited, I think, Ivy Zeldenberg, who is the head of the office here. When we wrote Ivy Zeldenberg, I think it was February of last year. And he was sick and he had to travel for medical emergency. So the officer in charge came and we had some discussion. And the discussion we had with him on March 1st of 2023 was encouraging, to the point where we felt that there would be some relief in terms of our budget and how the nation is properly governed economically, so that some of those issues that had to do with the welfare of the people be attended to. So when we had the discussion with Mr. Solenki, a Nigerian national who is the officer in charge, we intended to travel to the United States, and that coincided with our invitation, with the invitation extended us by the United States Congress, where we served as a panelist in Congress at the time in March. So we traveled to the United States and were able to meet Congress. On the 28th of March, we communicated with the head of the Liberian office in America, associated with LISCA Maritime, called one Madam Margaret Asamani. When we communicated with Asamani, we subsequently communicated with one Reeves, who also works for the Liberian Registry of Maritime Office. That did take place. Then, after we did the communication, on the 30th, because we did the communication on the 28th, on the 30th, we were able to go to the Liberian embassy to further, discuss the matter and whether it was appropriate for any Liberian representative to have been, to accompany us. But only what was essential to us was to acquaint the Liberian embassy that we were going there. The Liberian embassy, to its credit, called LISCA office, and then we went there subsequently. When we went there, unfortunately for us, Madam Asumana was not present, and Mr. Rees was not present, but we were met upon our arrival by a lady there, a Caucasian lady. But upon entering the building, there was a gentleman that we encountered who rode with us on the floor where LISCA office was, where the Liberian office was along with LISCA office. There was another lady who ushered us in. another black lady. I learned subsequently that she came from Nimba County 4 days ago, when I learned. So after we left, we discussed with the lady in the LISCA office. She would not give us the information we wanted. We wanted to know the success made by, or the successes made by LISCA and the challenges being encountered, so that we know exactly how, if there is a need for a turnaround or any kind of a strategy to make it more productive or vibrant. The conclusion said that if there was anything that could help us, I would prefer the lady collating the information, gathering the information, and furnishing the information to us, so that we'll be able to see what next can happen, how Liberia can be helped in the process. But I want to thank Mr. Statinos, former U.S. Secretary of State, who gave Liberia this opportunity. The maritime, thing we enjoy today, since the 1940s, he was able to drive that through for Liberia, the United States government. So we are very happy. If he were to be alive today, I don't know exactly how he would feel, because there have been, in my mind, some challenges, some gaps, and some weaknesses that we are yet to put our finger on. But we have been waiting for the information since we left the office March 30th, and no information has come thus far. To the situation after we left on the 30th, the Maritime Office, LISCA's office, the gentleman who rode the elevator with us was fired because, according to the LISCA official, was that he allowed a government official into their office because he has a personal contact with the Liberian official. They also went on to say, the letter also went on to say that his action was a breach of the security protocol and was unprofessional. So for that, they fired a Liberian citizen who was working for his country overseas. In my view, this is, worse than an act of slavery. This is classic servitude, wanton servitude, and I think it's unacceptable. I hope that the Liberian government will get involved, that this gentleman be reinstated, and damages psychologically that he has experienced be provided, because I think this is criminal, this is inhumane, and against social order, against the gentleman's right to employment and his personal right and his civil liberties. I think, in my mind, we now rely on government to provide justice to this gentleman. His name is Samuel Joe. We heard later on last week that a lady that is from Nimba County, who also works there, because the lady ushered me in the office of this guy, who does not know me at all. This lady also was forced to resign and was given a job based on contractual basis. I think, for me, it's unacceptable. We are not exporting slaves, neither are we selling slaves to any group of people. If LISCA wants to deal with Liberia, it should deal with Liberia based on the fact that Liberia is a sovereign country, and sovereignty is unmitigated. When people give you a piece of assignment, it's not your entitlement to say that you will do it at will. But what was in my mind a little bit disturbing, when I went to the LISCA office, the lady who I was talking with, asking her for information regarding the status of LISCA, its strengths, its weaknesses, challenges, and other gains made. The lady, in a very low tone, was asking whether Deputy Speaker Kufa was aware of my visit there, and whether the Commissioner of Maritime was aware of my visit there. I think, for me, it's unacceptable. As Liberia wants to move forward, and this country belongs to all of us, and as such, we should do it rightly. In conclusion, I want to say that we have to move this country in a positive way. We need a kind of architecture on this ground to ensure that it being the fulcrum of our democracy, good things happen. Liberia, in my mind, has promise. Liberia, its budget can be in excess of billions. That is possible. I have said this before, and I'm saying this today. And we hope that what is happening now, or what will happen in the future, not too distant, that Liberia will have that elevation to having a budget in terms of several $billion, because Liberia has the sector that has mining, which is not even being well exploited. You have gold, you have diamonds. We hope that the next government will come. Liberia will be having bullions. Liberia will be having bars being kept in the central bank, and so that Liberia will have a good backing for its currency. We hope that Liberia will regulate properly the mining sector and have what I would call beneficiation, what will add value to those extractions we make from our soil, because these things cannot be replenished. One taken off, you cannot put them back. And I think, in my mind, it will help us, because there are billions, there are millions, hundreds of millions of dollars being lived in this country, and we have to regulate those things well, so that we can have value for the soil that those things are coming from. Imagine, Maryland County, some part of Maryland County. Imagine River Chief. Imagine Grand Crew, Bapolu, Nimba, because I think there was some time ago there was some movement of soil that killed some people in Tapeta because of that kind of illegal mining activities. We have even, Cape Mount everywhere in Liberia. You have these problems. And I think when Liberia should put itself into zones or regions and have companies that do profit sharing, will have more to gain. Imagine if you have the wood area where you have profit sharing and you have joint venture, you will not only get a good portion of what comes from the wood industry, you also have the expertise that when the foreign partners have left, you have Liberians being able to ably manage their affairs, and you're not even rushed to see another group of foreign investors to come together. Even the issue of rubber production. Liberia at one point was the highest producer of rubber in the world. Today, I think we are about 12, 14 in the world. And I think it's still not a bad position, but those who are extracting must understand that they have to be able to give back to Liberia, because it is deserving of Liberia to have a kind of a value addition to rubber that leave from here. Imagine when rubber started before, instead of people focusing or Firestone focusing to have finished product in Liberia, Firestone went to South Africa. At the time, it was an apartheid regime. Firestone went to Brazil. Firestone went to France. Firestone went to England. Firestone, even, of course, America, it was there. And Liberia was, left out. I hope this time, not only, having dry rubber coming from Liberia in the name of processed rubber, but you have products in terms of tires, in terms of gloves, in terms of bushings. Things can happen from rubber, and I think it will enhance the employment capacity of Liberia. It will even generate more money. So I think we have some products. And the last time we talked about the issue about the wood products, we see exactly how Germany, is exploiting constructively or effectively the forest, where Germany is receiving the highest in the world. We also look at the fisheries, how even Norway, Vietnam, and other countries getting so much from that market. So I think Liberia can borrow the styles of those various countries and domesticate them so that we can get where we want to go. We are underserved in many ways. We have not enough schools, we have not enough hospitals, we have not enough government infrastructure, so there are so many things. We have not enough bridges, the roads. So when we have enough capital to ensure that we serve our people, all will be well. So I think Africa being so profound to global prosperity, Liberia being so profound to global prosperity. We hope that we all can work in concert to ensure that constructive measures are taken and whatever we intend to do for our people be more efficacious. Thank you.
One, the situation of the legislative staff was agitating for unpaid benefits and salary. This isn't the first time I've released a ongoing investigation. We have not seen this kind of, approach from you as the administrative head of the legislature. Why this time around, just in the dying minute of the 54 legislature? That's the first concern. The second one has to do with the gentleman that lost his job in the Lester's office in the States. He also calling for an investigation, ensuring that he gets benefit. One could also be asking, this took place on your watch, by which time your government was in power. The government is going to be out. What are the hope that the next government will ensure that he gets the benefit if when he was relieved of the job on the citizen for which you hear the House?
Thank you very much. In the first place, we have always spoken and we have always acted for our staffers, including legislators, to have their benefits. These things were discussed, and some actions were accompanying, our own intervention. This time, it has, taken longer than expected. And it is not only members of the legislature, it's not only the staffers. I too have some issues, but I always say that I will not put my issues before that of the people. So I think, in my view, in my honest opinion, this action that people are not getting their pay is a kind of it's an offense, that require even intervention, even maybe arrest of people who are not wanting to giving the people their due benefits. I mean, those persons in government responsible to execute these actions. I think, in my mind, in extreme case, these people should be arrested and be brought in why they can do that. But we have done all we could. To an extent, at some point, we had, a kind of action on the minister's head, contempt, and he was ordered arrested. But based on the spirit of coordination and to ensure that the things were smooth enough to carry on these exercises and other national issues for those things to be rolled out successfully, we decided to, purge or to take out the contempt, and here we are. That is why I say I want to thank the president. He was able to intervene because a committee, House's committee was structured, and most of the president, the discussion was frank. But for it to have reached this level, where you have people coming here and a new government coming in, is unprecedented. We cannot allow that. It's not because we are not the people coming in power, but even those people who are coming in power that were not part of their party, they should also be giving that kind of fluidity. That fluidity should be there. There should not be any stifling of these kinds of exercises. These are democratic actions. If indeed, we say that things happening on at this level, then one can even want to insinuate that it is deliberate. It should not be. The people work. If there was nothing there, then the people should not have been called to work. But I believe that all of those things have been looked at, and in the spirit of coordination, we still maintain that the various individuals be given their compensation, and those entrusted with that aspect of public service be able to carry on this work. The issue about the gentlemen who have been dismissed, I have discussed this exhaustively, and I am not the person who perhaps will prosecute or ensure that certain things happen, but I still have, that means of ensuring that this gentleman gets justice, and we ensure that he has justice, because what happens to one amongst us, it affects all of us psychologically. And not because he's not my brother or he's not like in my house, but he's a Liberian citizen. So we must be able to protect our citizens wherever they are, especially when they are doing things in the best interest of our country. So, I mean, whether it's in Israel, it's in America, wherever it is. But once you have a Liberian whose rights are being, violated, is a necessity. It's obligatory that the government takes charge. And wherever it is, like America, is a place of justice. And I don't think the gentleman, will be a denier of justice. I think also in Liberia, justice will be served because this gentleman here will be giving that clear, I would say, assistance because he deserves it. He did not travel to America to have been treated like slave. Slavery has been abolished in America, it has been abolished in the world. And to see our own citizen working in a Liberian institution and to be dismissed without any justifiable cause, I think in my mind is foolhardy. That is an extravagant foolery on the part of those that took that action.
Let's take Bana FM.
Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Winston Vlade. Few concerns. One, where is your Honorable Speaker and how far is your case? Because as of Monday, will be the induction of the 55th legislature. Two, has the 54th legislature adjourned? If yes, then in my mind, the unusual way, I have covered the place for about 13 years, where I can recall at times you offer the opportunity to deliver speeches. If we have adjourned, what were some of the challenges, the successes of the 54 that you managed to maintain this place, keep it peaceful on your watch?
Thank you. The issue about closure is the issue of satisfaction. For me, the interest of the people transcend any other interests. And so the people entitlements is what we can close on. If they are giving the just benefit, for me, it truncates all of those concerns that we may have. And so, yes, let's see that the people get an entitlement. It will be an effective and rational closure or adjournment of this house. For me, that what matters. The other one has to do with my case. I want to say that they are good characters who are jurists, meaning that who are law practitioners, characters who are justices, and I think they are luminaries in the Liberian jurisprudence. I believe strongly with the incisive nature, meaning that the people being that intelligent, being analytical, being clear thinking, in my own rationalization of who they are at that court, the highest court in the land, I think justice will be served and the outcome will be satisfactory. And we feel that when the people demanded through their franchise by voting will be the way forward. And we will surface here, whether we are speaker or not speaker, but we'll serve our people. We have been here elected to serve the people of Pilo Local District. We were not speaker and we're here and serving Liberia, serving humanity. And let me say this, I'm proud of Pilo Local District and I'm proud of what I have done there. In the entire history of this republic, what Pilo Local District citizens have done, no group in terms of academia, no group has done it since their existence, since 1822, when Liberia was founded. I say this because there were 7 young children sent from Pilo Local District to represent the Republic of Liberia in academic competition at Georgetown University in 2017. These children, amongst 197 countries, they came 12th in the world. They did better than students, from the United States, from Canada, from Brazil, from Russia, from many countries. In the entire world, 194 countries, they came 12th in the world. in Africa, where you have 54 countries, they came second. So where they have placed, Liberia, for me, it makes me proud, and I think it helps the image of this country. So we are building this country, whether people like it or not. And I will say that sometimes if people cannot control who you are, they try to make people to think who they want you to be like. So for us, the people of Plateau Southern District have been they have been very supportive to the forward march of this country in a positive way. And the number one danger is envy. What you see happening with people today is because people are envious, people are jealous of the people of Plateau Southern District. But we remain humble and serviceable to the state. So that said, and on behalf of Liberia, that was Team Liberia. On behalf of Liberia, we were able to shoulder the responsibility to send 7 children to the United States because the government at the time refused to do so. When the children came back to meet the government, it was difficult. The Minister of Education was even impossible to meet the Minister of Education after promises were made. The only person those young people met was the Deputy Minister, Dr. Horton. The only person they met. And thankfully, these children, and some of them, are doing well in college. They are being sponsored, by us. And I am proud that they will serve the country. And these are the actions of patriotism that we think are necessary for this country to grow. And I hope that many more children can be groomed in that direction. And I think we should look at the best amongst us, regardless of where people come from. Opportunities must be provided for our young people. Everywhere they are, anywhere they are, they must be provided. Be it Monrovia, be it Hapo, be it Plateau Southern District, be it Saniquili, be it Banga, wherever the people are, let them be given the opportunity. And I think in my mind, sometimes if you are not seeing Monrovia, then you do not form part of the national cake. After the children came and displayed such a kind of a prowess, such a kind of a masterful skills in the competition, the state sent a group of young people from Monrovia, and they came 84th. Out of 194 countries, they were the 84th group in terms of ranking. So you see exactly where it is. It doesn't matter where a person comes from. What matters is that the investment made in the children and how they can make things better. We are proud of people, and we feel that all that we are and all that we ought to be owe to the people of Plateau Southern District.
Just a follow-up to my question, Honorable Director, please. How much in question are we talking about being obligated to the staff and the total sum? Is it 1 month, 2 months, or what?
Well, basically, we are running on a basis of parity. It's a legislature, and the discussion was that whatever the entitlement is must be provided. Again, whatever happens on this side should be the identical thing that will happen on the Senate side. And whatever happens on the Senate side should be what happens on our side. We don't believe in preferential judgment, preferential action. We want impartiality, we want fair and just treatment. That's what we want for our people.
We'll take our final question from OKFN, then we'll close up.
My name is Andrew Johnson, and I report for OKFM. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You sound meticulous today with the staffers of the House of Representatives and so forth, and on other national issues. A few days ago, we saw you with the UP cleaner, the rescue cleaner. And then a few days from now, it's going to be the election for the speakership of the House of Representatives. Who are you supporting?
Thank you very much. The interesting part of that entire exercise, I saw a lady who was the cheerleader, and she is a seditious. Besides, she proudly wore the lapel of President John Manawia. So I think it was based on patriotism. It was not based on partisanship. I think, and it's good. Even if Senator Johnson was doing cleaning up, we would have been able to identify with them. In fact, we always identify with people that do the cleaning up around that area. And there is sometimes the city hall have some people working there. One of the leaders there is a lady called Macintosh. You know, we always identify with them when they're doing that work, and it was within my area. So I felt that for what they were doing, it was fair that we engaged them and we encouraged them. We provided masks, we provided gloves, we provided other things to help them when they want to break fast, if they were fasting, and when they wanted to have lunch when it was necessary. So it's just a humane thing to do. It was a human thing to do, and they deserve it because they were serving Liberia. It was not United Party people that were working on the boulevard. All of us, and sanitation is good. Clean godliness or cleanliness next to godliness. And so it was not God's party. It was, for the cause of cleaning Pinsville, and we are proud to identify with them. If we do again, we'll always identify with them. Coming to the issue of elections, I think in my mind we need to have classic sobriety, to ensure that we move forward positively. We are still, having to sense the nature and form of the leadership of this house. My deputy is in the race. In my mind, he has not done justice to the role he served. I would have thought that they would work together cordially and that he'd be supportive of my plan. Well, it is not yet late. We hope that I'm still here. We hope that he will support my plan. If he will support my plan, and then if he changes his action, and some of those things, he repent on those things that he had done, we can support him. So until he does those things, we think that the Liberia deserves better. I'm not saying that once he's elected by his people, he has the right to become whatever he wants to be based on the evaluation of the people here. And my people here are trustworthy. They look at pragmatism. Sometimes in the face of things, we equilibrate. We balance actions here and see exactly what is good for all of us. So yes, I'm a sedition. The party reigns supreme. However, the Liberian people's best interest in my mind is foremost. As I said, we have to look at the needle, and we have to look at the swinging. If good is more than bad, in our own judgment, we take good. Because in my mind, it's good, you come back, it comes back to you, yeah, you have good, hit. If you throw the object, if the bad things you do, then you're blessed. I would say benefits in terms of economic revenue. Abraham Lincoln, was a president who had 1 year of formal education. He became the best in the United States. Why? Because he surrounded himself with lots of people that advised him positively. 1 year of formal education. His successor, Andrew Johnson, had no education, formal education. It was his wife who taught him ABC, before he learned, self-read, and he became a president, and a successful president. Today, the landmark case in America of the Tenure Act that was challenged by him, today it makes record because he only did not limit himself to not entering the walls of academia, of education. He conditioned himself to know that these things around is the human mind that make them possible. So those things in my mind encourage everybody, any good thinking person, to know that with the people you surround yourself with, so shall you be. If there are 5 thieves that are sitting down on the table, and you are always with those 5 thieves, you will become the 6th thief amongst them. If there are 10, good people who are sitting on the table, and you mingle with those 10 people all of the time, you'll be the 11th good person. So it's a choice that we make. Be what you want to be in you. people can know exactly who your friends are. So Liberia belongs to all of us, regardless of what is being said, regardless of the verbiages. It's always good to be good. Bad people want you to be bad, so they will say all kinds of things about you. But if nobody says anything about you, then you're not a good person, because the opposite of good is bad. So when you're good now, for the person to be glorified, you will come to say that you're a bad person. And I will say that people must be thoughtful. If a man is good, he will not insult another person. It's only a bad person will take that which is within him and put it out. That's the person. So I want to say for us, let us keep hope alive. Things positive will happen. Liberia is a country that belongs to everybody. We are sovereign people. We pray that Liberia becomes just, Liberia becomes fair, Liberia becomes united, Liberia becomes prosperous, so that all of our rights and responsibilities can be properly balanced. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks to you, members of the
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you so much for being there. You just listened to the Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives with a press conference. And this is how we come to the climax of this press conference. My name is Andrew Johnson, who has been covering this press conference. Thank you so much. And Monique, you can take over from there.